Good morning, welcome to Avoidance Talks with Anthony. Today we're going to have a type of conversation. For those that are new to the channel, we make mental health conversations and content that's going to be beneficial to your personal development and just into your well-being, right? But in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about why avoidance feels good short-term, but costs us long-term, right? So life, that you want is often waiting for you on the other side. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to take in consideration that if you're avoiding some of these things to get to the other side, you may not be able to reach full life potential, even get to the outcome that you want because that avoidance, right? So let's normalize the experience, right? So we all avoid things at different times of our life, depending on what the situation is or what the task is, right? So difficult conversations, big decisions, unfinished goals, or uncomfortable emotions that can be feeling overwhelming, right? Some people can even suggest us assistance or get help or this or that, but you know what I mean? We always put it on the back burner, right? But we have to understand that avoidance isn't a weakness. It is a human response to discomfort, right? But we have to understand that we have to get comfortable, being uncomfortable in whatever the situation is going to be, right? So we have to be able to, like I said, try to take action, but believe in yourself, trust yourself throughout that process, right? So when something feels uncomfortable or uncertain or even challenging, your mind naturally feels that relief to kind of just like I said, go into that avoidance. That's normal, right? That's just the body response, right? But the problem isn't, in regards to, avoiding, sometimes avoidance is a big thing when it's like taking control of, your life, right? So we got to be able to take in consideration that it happens, it comes and it goes, right? But when it's coming to making significant, decisions for your life and it's really holding you back, we really got to be able to look at some things, right? So let's dive into some psychoeducation and regarding to avoidance creates, immediate relief. Like I said, for that moment, it feels rewarding, right? But the brain learns to escape that discomfort and then it's also working because you're getting your way, right? But like I said, these patterns, they create themselves, right? So you're going to be able to just be in your own la la land world and you're comfortable in that, right? But at the same time too, you're limiting yourself to full life's potential by not being able to take action, get outside your comfort zone, right? Try new things, right? Really try that support, right? So I really want to take in consideration because, you don't want to be stagnant, right? You don't want to be stagnant. You don't want to be stuck. You know what I mean? Necessarily not saying that's, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? People have their own comfort levels, right? But I really want you to understand that we can always what? We can always improve, right? So in regards to a message I really want to be able to provide for you is that most of the growth isn't just that's going to be found in that comfort zone, right? It's going to be found in the moments of out of that comfort zone, right? So when you have that courage, when you have that confidence, right? When you have that belief in yourself, right? When like you're trying your best and you put in that effort, that's where the confidence, you know what I mean? Lies, right? So I really want to take that in consideration, right? So every time that you step away from, like I said, a challenge, you step away from an opportunity to even build that confidence, right? So like I said, try your best to stop avoiding, these things. For instance, if you see someone that you like, remember back in the days when I used to work, at an after-school program. I was doing a mindset activity program that I developed, and I asked the kids, like, you know what I mean? Like, you see someone that you like, you have a little crush, whatever, right? Why are you self-sabotaging yourself? Why are you throwing yourself down, right? Why you know what I mean? Why are you having these negative thoughts? Why are you running with that, right? Build yourself up, believe in yourself, go say hi. You feel me? Quick little interaction, right? I mean, people that have this repetition, people that believe in themselves, people that have that confidence, people that do the inner work, right? People that really love themselves, right? People that came from a loving home, etc., right? They have more of these attributes, right? But some of us that came from a dysfunctional home, right? Jealousy, animosity, negative thinking, right? You know what I mean? Manipulation. We can feel me, survival mode. We trying to just, you know what I mean, get what we can out here. Like, there's a lot of things going on the back end, right? But I really want us to understand that we got to get outside of our comfort zone. We have to be able to look at ourselves, accept ourselves, right? Do what's beneficial for ourselves, right? In a healthy way. Seek the support, right? But like I said, avoidance is not going to be beneficial for us, right? But we need to be able to, like I said, have that self-belief, develop that confidence to be able to get the life that we want by putting in that work, right? So let's talk about some practical reframing, right? So like I said, our mindset, right? So you don't need to feel, like I said, fearless to be able to move forward, right? Nobody asks you to be like a superhero, right? Just, you know what I mean? Build, understand where you're at and understand that you're able to improve, right? Little steps at a time, right? Good things take what? They take time. Right, so you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have the perfect motivation to take the action, right? Progress begins to look at yourself and be able to, like I said, say, I can take action. I can do this. I believe in myself, right? I can, you know what I mean? I could try this thing out, right? So you don't need to, like I said, be ready to, have this whole journey that's figured out. You just need to be able to have enough courage to say, listen, I'm gonna put the effort in. You know what I mean? I'm gonna take action. I'm gonna try my best, right? And I'm just, you know what I mean? Try my best to keep going, keep, you know what I mean? Because I'm gonna be real with you, right? Because just because you do something one time, right, is not going to eliminate your problem, right? Just because you go 2 times, it ain't going to eliminate your problem, right? You have to continuously keep working on yourself. You have to continuously keep putting in that effort, keep trying, and then before you know it, you're going to get comfortable, and you're going to look at yourself a couple years back, a couple months back, and be like, wow, I was in a whole different, state of mind, and now I'm over here really thriving and moving, right? So I really want you guys to take that in consideration, because whatever you put in is what you're going to get. So if you half-ass the process, right, you're going to get half-ass results. I got to just be thorough with you, right? But like I said, you don't need to be ready to, like I said, have the whole journey figured out. Like I said, all you need to really have is the mindset that you really want to take action, and you're willing to, put in the effort. You believe in yourself, right? So some micro action, because when you know better, you tend to do better, right? So think of one moment or something that you got going on that you've been avoiding, you've been putting off, right, in the back burner, right? And just think about that. So instead of focusing on the entire task, right, focus on one step. What's something I can do that's going to, So I gave you the example on hollering at little shorty, something like that. To get outside your comfort zone, say hi, make a little, initiation. Because think about it. When you go home, when you hop in the car, you're driving, you're thinking about, yo, I could have did that. I could have got the number. I could have got the Instagram, etc., right? You feel me? You're thinking about this, right? But if you took action, right, regardless of the person said yes or no, doesn't matter. You still, your confidence, you're still going to have it because you believe in yourself, right? So I really want you guys to be able to take that into consideration, really assess these things, because I think that sometimes when we don't get the result that we want, we tend to self-sabotage. And it's not even about them. It's about you, right? It's about your state of mind. It's about how you feel about yourself, because people don't know you, right? Everybody's in their own world. They got their own thing going on, right? So we got to be able to take that into consideration, but we have to be able to look at ourselves, right? Internally, what's really going on with our mindset, what's really going on, how we feel about ourselves, right? But these things are really important. But like I said, think of something that you've been putting off on the back burner. Why you avoiding that? And like I said, what is something that you can do to kind of take a step towards getting outside your comfort zone to make, that improvement? So give yourself that permission that you're able to start small, right? Because like I said, good things take time. You got to be able to, like I said, start small, do things that are manageable so it feels manageable for you to do it. Because when you're doing things that are just kind of overwhelming, be real with yourself, right? Let's be real with ourselves, right? You may not be able to just, just jump over there, like, because that may be too much, right? So think of something that's more manageable for yourself, so you're able to build that momentum. Right. So just coming to a close, like I said, I think that's just really where I really want you guys to kind of start. I want you guys to look at your life, a circumstance where you've been avoiding, be manageable in regards to how you're able to attempt, getting outside your comfort zone, seek for support, right? We have counseling, we have different services, right? There's different things that are going to be able to help you out here, right? Talk to a friend, Look up videos, motivational content, positive content, right? Really get your mind that frequency. Thriving Talks, that's what we do. Self-awareness, you already know, right? There's journaling, really get tuned in with yourself, build, and build that, that relationship with yourself, love yourself, self-compassion, right? And really be, an individual that's going to be caring for yourself throughout this process, because this is really going to build your confidence, right? Because something that we've been doing for so long is avoidance, and I really want you guys to take in consideration. I don't want you to be taught from the floor up. I don't want you guys to be stagnant, right? Because you're limiting life's potential, and you got to believe in yourself, right? Well, life's what you make of it. So I really want you guys, like I said, trust yourself, right? Try to move out of this avoidance habit, right? People around you too, if they're over here just not trying to grow, not trying to, improve, self-reflect, right? Move accordingly, do what's gonna make you happy. However, if you found this video beneficial, give it a thumbs up, share if possible. See you on the next one.